Hello everyone and welcome to the KMTRADERS channel. So this is a full market analysis volume 16 now. So just to give you a quick run through, it's basically looking at all of our charts. We show you a bit of what we're looking at, explain our views, we'll give you some of our predictions as well, and we really try to provide enough value and a lot of information really for the up and coming trading week. Okay. So as you can see here, we have all these pairs that we were going to discuss, from New Zealand dollar to the US dollar to the Euro CAD. We are going to cover gold in a separate video just to give you a bit more of an update. But if you are new to this channel or you're a new trader, we have a trading group that you can join. A link's in the description below. I'll let you go check that out if you want to join, but definitely feel free to do so if you are new to this channel. Okay, so we'll start off with New Zealand dollar, US dollar. And again, we're pretty much into the upside of our reversal zone. So we can see we've had a form of rejection here. So all we need to see now is a continued momentum to push to the upside, and then we're gonna see some potential push to the next phase. So I'm hoping that we can get another run like this. This is very optimistically speaking, but if we can push this up to here, even if we took potentially 50% of this move, this would be a small projection, but you could be aiming for 0.67, and that would be just under 200 pips. So again, this is a very upside look on this pair, but again, we're slowly breaching out of this consolidation period that we got trapped in. Obviously through the start of June we had this push. So as we know, the market can never push always in one direction. Has to go in a form of ups and downs. So I like to call them staircases. So this is simply just the break of this push. So we could be expecting some good strong momentum. So I will be looking at this very closely for next week. So you'll find as well through some of the pairs that we were in a very choppy consolidation phase, and all we're simply doing is just waiting to break out. So again here, we've got this strong push to the upside. We've got some period of the sideways movement. So all we're simply doing here in this case is we're waiting for a breakout to the downside. The retest is very crucial on this level. Why? Because it signifies that we're pushing down together. It's also indicating that prices has enough momentum to continue it and push further. But likely, what I'm thinking is, we had this huge push to the upside. This is this temporary break. I'm looking more towards the upside bias, but again, I'm not predicting this. I'm just waiting for price to, if it does get above this level, then I will consider my buys. Remember that the retest is the very important part of deciding, for the long term, that this is going to push in either direction. So again, keeping an eye out of these two levels. So this is roughly at 1.12, and this is roughly just under 1.14. Okay, so very wide range. So again, it will explain why activity this week may not have been so pushy, because I'm waiting for the push to the upside or downside for a clear structure move again. Okay, so looking at AUD USD, again, it's pretty much the same thing. We're looking at this huge push here, sideways move, and again we're waiting for this break and close above here. Pretty much that's all I'm waiting for. So I will be trading aggressively on this level if we do get above this point. So this is roughly at 0.698 to 0.696. So that's the ranges I'm looking at. But again, most importantly, you can see how how we've got structure here to show that it's got previous resistance. So just by looking at the chart, if we're able to go above this zone and find a strong retest, long term, this will be great for us to potentially push higher. And again, I'll probably look for around 50% of this previous impulse, which is something like this. So, and apply this to the upside. It could be anywhere just under 0.72. So see how that works out. Is quite nice. It's a very simple way to take some profits or long-term profits essentially. But yeah, so seeing this impulse to the upside, this is just the sideways move. We could see a potential push to the upside. So I'm not going to exclude the downside momentum though. So what this could happen if I'm looking for a sell is I won't be looking for, if price fails to do a breakout here or does this sort of action, I'm not going to take an aggressive sell. The only position I'm looking for a sell is if it breaks below this structure, because we've had previous support here, and this is obviously previous resistance on the top. So again, is support becoming resistance, then that's a definitely sell zone, and resistance becoming support, then that's a definite buy for me. Okay, so understanding that what market cycle you're in, we're either in an impulse or we're in a consolidation. That's when you need to either understand the resistance and the support levels of where to buy and sell from. So just make that clear in your trading plan, and you'll definitely change a lot of things for you. So hopefully that would help. So euro, New Zealand dollar, again, we've got this structure to the downside, previously acting as a former support. So if we're able to break and close this very strong, I'm hoping for that rejection to the downside. So this is roughly between 1.724 to 1.72. So again, we're just waiting for that strong closure to the downside, the pullback, and then that momentum to kick us back down again. And again, because this is a lot of fresh data and a fresh, no previous backlog of previous structure, all I'll be waiting for is just to see if it can hold the momentum of the previous, making new lows, new highs, new lows, new highs, etc. Okay, so that's all I'll be looking for, and then really trying to hold on to the trade as much as we can until it starts to show signs of reversal. So looking at USD JPY, again, we can see, pretty much in this range again that we spoke about last time. We can see markets have not been able to push out of this level here, so it's a very strong resistance, as well as this level here is a strong level of support. So in theory, all I will be waiting for is just the price to break and close this structure and wait for that retest before we push higher. So this level again in the market is of very importance for myself. I'll be keeping a good eye on this zone. So this is roughly at 108. This level needs to be broken above on the 4-hour time frame before we find the retest, and then again the push higher. And again, if we have a huge weakness in the US dollar in the next week, if prices to descend all the way to the downside, I'll be looking for the exact same thing really, and that's the push to the downside, the retest before we get the push, and a lot of the retest will be on this level. So that's 106.238 to be precise. But again, it really just depends about where the price of the market does want to push. Okay, so you need to understand that we're in a very choppy and consolidation market here. So there's no point trying to pick the bottoms and lows. It's just waiting for previous resistance or support to be broken before you can then decide if we're going to push higher or if we're going to push lower. Okay, so I hope that makes sense of my logic around that. And again, you could probably see the same thing with all the Japanese yen pairs really. So again, we're on the Canadian dollar to Japanese yen, and we're simply just waiting for the break and close of either side, and we can get a long-term prediction going here if we make either of these structure breaks. As you can see here, this is a previous resistance that had gone support, but now potential, if it does close lower, we could get another resistance that turns into support and then pushes further low. On the upside, we have a failure to have price retest this level at all, or push higher. So this is obviously a significant point in the market. If I get rid of this level, Again, we're simply just waiting for that push closure to the upside, and again that retest before you find that strong push again to the upside. So there's pretty much a lot of waiting that needs to be done here in the CAD. Well, I think all in the JPY pairs, I believe, but especially in the US dollar JPY and CAD JPY. Again, a lot of waiting. So we'll see exactly the other JPY pairs. So in this market, again, we're looking at, we've got some short-term intraday levels that we can manipulate, but again, it's not really where my favorite trading opportunities come from. I believe that, the 4-hour and the daily really works well. So these structure levels here, I'm keeping an eye on. And again, all I'm simply doing is if we get a break above here, closure above, and then, push to the upside, that's my point of action only. If I do get any higher, then sorry, if I do get any lower, then I'll be looking to sell, and it would only be if it crosses this line here, this structure, and it pushes lower here. So this range is quite a big one. So this is at 117.996, so we'll call that 118 to 117.4. Okay, so that range there, I will take a sell if we get that strong closure. Remember, that's the first initial step before price even gets to this point, and take a sell. And then to the upside, we're looking at roughly 123 to 122, so 123.00 to 122.5. Okay, so that's where we're looking for a potential buy. So again, push to the upside for that retest. So there is a lot of waiting in this presence, and I do stress this enough. You will be rewarded because all we're waiting for is this move to initiate in the markets again. So again, these are the best areas where I believe market will be able to pick up its pace. If it does mean we're going to have to wait a few days, then that's what we're going to have to do. Okay. So same thing again here. We're just waiting for that closure to the upside, retest, and push again. So it's a very repetitive action, this, but again, this works in favor when your risk management is really good and you're in this for the long term and not the short term. I can't stress this enough. There's a lot of traders out there who focus really on the intricate details and not enough on the bigger picture. Like, don't get me wrong, I do believe in the intricacies and the details, but again, if you're getting a few days of losses and then you're thinking, okay, this is not working for me, then it's just never going to work out. You need proven data, proven statistics and numbers to go alongside with your strategy. So what is your return what is your ROI? What is your drawdown expected? What can you expect with your system? And that's how you should be thinking about your system, as opposed to not, well, basically just thinking about, I need to make X amount of money every day. If you are that type of person, then I would suggest potentially scalping, because scalping does give you that again, that ability to give you quick money like that. But again, there's a lot of trading styles out there, and for me, I've tried scalping and it just doesn't really work. So again, this is how I trade, and it's a very much comfortable way for me, and it fits in perfectly with my current lifestyle. Okay, so again, like we talked about here, we're waiting for the upside close for the retest. So this is roughly between 71.5 to 71, and if we're looking for sales, if price manages to drop all this way, waiting for this retest here before we get a push to the downside. So this is roughly at 66.5. Excuse me. So moving on now to AUD JPY, to the last Japanese yen pair. So yeah, as I said before, you can see how the Japanese yen pairs there really are taking a breather from this huge push to the upside. Again, on a higher time frame, this is a very impulsive nature, and we're just simply waiting for this consolidation period to end before we get that huge push to the upside once more. So again, looking at AUD JPY, so we see here prices at the highest point of the market failed to showed some previous resistance, But again, if price manages to get above this level, we're waiting for a strong closure to the upside before that retest. And then again, you know, see a potential push to the upside. So that's 76.5. If we're looking for sales, I will be looking at this point in the market due to previous support / resistance. So again, closure to the downside, push to the downside again after the retest, and that's roughly at 70.000. So that's pretty much the AUD JP. That's pretty much the Japanese yen's pairs covered. Again, you can see how the market needs a very much of a pause after we've had, you know, for example, a lot of breather. After we've had a very intense start to June. Again, we can see price really descending here. And remember me talking about, you know, price can never move straight. It needs to go in a series of staircases. So highs, lower highs, higher highs, lower highs, etc., and higher highs. That's the formation of the market. But understanding this is another level, you need to apply it to the charts, which is where the difficulty comes into play. So again, these are the levels that we're looking at, and again, there's a lot of patience required for the Japanese yen pair. So don't expect anything too soon for those pairs unless we get an aggressive move. So moving on to the last three pairs for this video. So USD Swiss franc. So previously I was mentioning that, you know, I wanted to see structure break and close above this, and if it was to do so, it'd be very aggressive, and you know, we could potentially push and break above this downtrend. But again, we can see how price is really rejecting this level. So you know, this is good signs that we're in a very strong consolidation period. So we're pretty much in a very ranging motion here, as you can see. You know, just sideways, no real there's no real movement here. So you know, we have this potential move to take, and this would be from a sell. So this would be from 0.94. If we get a break to the downside, we can get that as the sell. If we get a push and close to the upside, and with the retest of around 0.954, that would be my best potential to buy. So again, we're really looking at this in a very patient way, if that makes sense. So we need to really wait here before we make a decision. Again, I call this the no man's land. All this price action here is just very choppy, messy. And like I said, you can trade in between, but it just doesn't make sense for me personally, as we're swing traders and long term. This is the method that we look at. So looking at USD CAD, again, we've got two levels here that are potential and very strong that I want to put your attention on. So we have this strong momentum to the downside on intraday level. So potentially we could get a break and close above this with a retest. So this could be a potential one for the up and coming week. So 1.35. If we get a definite closure below this, I will be taking sells. On the upside, if we get a closure above this level, with the retest and push to the upside, that would be the second opportunity to look for, again, if price rejects this point or fails to do the push, the strong close. So this is at 1.37 for a buy, and again 1.35 for a sell. So again, you can see here structure is just moving sideways. We're simply just taking a breather. So you can visually see, again, we're not moving anywhere in comparison. This is an impulse nature, this is a consolidative nature. So that's all you need to look at. Okay. So finally, looking at Euro CAD, again, this is a very structured, choppy market. There are swings here that you can take, don't get me wrong, but again, we're waiting for the price to make a push to the upside, again, as we previously mentioned, to the upside, or again towards the downside. So pretty much we're staying very aware of where we are in the market. So we're back into almost center of this whole range. So we're stuck in here again since mid-April all the way till July now. So I'm expecting a move soon, hopefully, and we'll see how far this can push us, and take it from there. So I hope that kind of makes sense of the market for you guys for this up and coming week. And again, it explains why, last week was very slow for us. So we've given you, a bit of a perspective of our charts, explain our views, give you some of our levels that we're looking to buy and sell from. So definitely keep an eye out for those zones that I've mentioned. And hopefully this did provide you all with some good value. So if you do have any questions for us, I'm more than happy to help. All you have to do is message us on our Instagram, which is at KMTRADERS, and we'll get, and just message us and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. At the start of the video, I did mention that we have a trading group that you can join. That link is in the description below. It's just a group that we post. We post our chart analysis a bit more updated than our videos. So you can definitely learn a few things here and there just from those screenshots of the charts that we post. So yeah, definitely go ahead and follow that and join the group. So if you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you very, very much for listening. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel for all of our future analysis videos, and we'll see you guys all in the next one.